Good Monday morning, South Florida. Morning Seal meteorologist Julie Durda. We are watching Tropical Storm Imelda. This system has winds of 45 miles per hour, pressure 996 millibars. This is a 2 a.m. advisory. And we're watching this system because even though it's just about 125 miles away from us, those outer feeder bands are going to be playing a part in our forecast. So just like the weekend, how we saw those rain bands and those gusty winds moving in, we'll do it again today. It's moving to the north at 6 miles per hour. So the system, again, the center, well, just to the east of us, just over 120 miles by NASA. But those outer feeder bands are what we're talking about. Those are the storms that are going to be rolling in off that northeast breeze. And that northeast breeze is providing for us to have a high risk of rip currents for beachgoers, boaters. We have advisories as well. The actual protected path of this system moves towards the east and moves towards Bermuda, possibly as a Category 1 hurricane. So our forecast, some occasional showers. It actually will feel really nice as that breeze starts to take place. It'll be breezy, downright windy, and that'll bring in some drier air. We're going to be breezy with those small craft conditions for boaters and beachgoers, a high risk of rip currents sticking around. Highest wind gusts today around 2 to 4 o'clock with winds gusting in the 20s and 30s. We do it again tomorrow as well. The benefit of all of this is that we will be seeing drier conditions, but the bad news is it comes with the cost of that high risk of rip currents for beachgoers. We have that tropical storm warning for offshore waters for Broward and Miami-Dade. Otherwise, nearshore waters moderate chop to choppy. So we'll be seeing those off and on showers today, much drier Tuesday into Wednesday, which will be fantastic. And then we go into the end of the week, increasing the rain chances. Have a great Monday. Imelda is spinning over the Bahamas, and then we have Hurricane Umberto. Imelda has winds of 45 miles per hour, headed north, crawling at 8 miles per hour. It's a very slow-moving storm, so we're going to be talking about it quite some time and dumping a lot of rain for the the Bahamas. And then as it heads to Bermuda, it's supposed to be a Category 1 hurricane. We also have Hurricane Umberto, winds of 130 miles per hour. More on all this coming up.
All right, South Florida, you've got a major accident on 995. Take a look right here. There's a semi truck on its side. This is on 95 going southbound. It's a little glitchy here, but I just do want to point out to you what's going on in your express lanes near Ives Dairy Road. You can see several emergency vehicles. Kind of hard to see. Let's get you out of that so you're not, so you don't get dizzy. Let's take a look right here on your maps. This is where this is happening. This is 95 Express just after Ives Dairy Road. As you saw, it was a semi truck on its side. It'll likely take a while to clean that up. The express lanes in that area are closed. Things are starting to really slow down for you. Fortunately, your regular lanes are moving, but you can see that red starting to build up there. Another accident I was pointing out to you earlier this morning, still pretty active out here. I-595 going eastbound. It's just at 441, still there. So you do have 3 right lanes blocked. Several emergency vehicles were there as well. I was just taking a look at it and things starting to clear up. You can see it's just a small pocket that once you get past it, you're in the green. If you want to avoid this altogether, you can take State Road 84. Let's take you over to some drive times here, my friends. 595 going eastbound, what we were just talking about. 75 to US 1, 15 minutes. University Drive to US 1, 10. Be safe. Buckle up. Yeah, Andrew, Alex, South Florida, we do have a major closure on your roads. For those of you who take I-95 southbound, listen up. At Ives Dairy Road, you do have a tractor trailer on its side, which is causing all of your lanes, regular lanes, express lanes, to be closed. You can see these emergency vehicles out there working to get this cleaned up for you. If you take a look at your maps, you can see that purple right there. That means closure. So you definitely want to avoid this. You can take US 1 or US 441. Those are both good options for you. The turnpike going southbound, also a good option for you, depending on where you're coming from, but you can see that purple right there and all that red starting to build up. You definitely don't want to get stuck in this. You have several accidents on your road. That's not the only one. This right here is the Palmetto Expressway going southbound. You can see after Northwest 103rd Street, all that red right there just before it is because you have a left lane block because of an accident. Last thing I'll leave you with, when in Broward County, this right here is on the turnpike going northbound near Hollywood Boulevard. You do have a left lane blocked. You can see all that red starting to build up there as well. You can take 441 if you'd like to avoid this. Now let's toss things over to our weather queen, Julie. How are things looking outside?
Thank you very much, Annaliese. Well, unfortunately, you've got all the bad news today because we are enjoying very nice weather. People stuck in traffic. As Annaliese just told you, things are pretty busy out there with some closures and some delays. Roll down your windows. We haven't been able to do this in quite some time. It feels fantastic out there. Upper 70s, Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Key West, and you can see why. Look how rough the surface in the distance from our Hollywood Beach cam. Wind starting starting to move in anywhere between 6 to 9 miles per hour. Expected to gust well into 20s and 30s later this afternoon. In-house future model does pull a few isolated rain bands associated with our tropical system that's over the Bahamas. But again, nothing widespread. And once the rain bands move in, they move out pretty quickly. So that's why we don't have widespread precipitation in the forecast. Mostly dry start, breezy conditions with a few bands around later this afternoon. I do have a few showers just offshore. They are hugging, literally hugging our coastline from Boca down to Deerfield to Lauderdale by the Sea. But that's why it's so cloudy and dreary outside. Tropical updates in. Let's talk about it quickly, as we will have meteorologist Amanda Pappas talk more about both of these systems. We have what is Tropical Storm Imelda with winds of 45 miles per hour moving north at 8. Tropical storm warning in effect for the Bahamas as it moves away. And latest on Humberto, it is a Category 4 hurricane. We'll have a lot more on this coming up.
Our Gulf wave heights and make for some dangerous surf. So speaking of that, we want to talk about the track and where the system is headed. So we know that Tropical Storm Imelda has lit up this whole entire area of the Bahamas in red because that's a tropical storm warning. The system is going to continue to push northward, and then it's going to pivot, thank goodness, off to the north and northeast as a Category 1 hurricane. However, even though we're not taking a direct hit, which is wonderful news for us in the state of Florida, we still are going to receive the outermost rain bands for today. It's really nice out there. Julie was mentioning that earlier, and it's all because of the fact that we're going to get a lot more drier air from this system too on the back side of it, but we still have to deal with a couple more of these rain bands. Longer term though, this is going to be an issue, this system Imelda as a Category 1 hurricane for Bermuda. Not the worst in the world, but still they're going to have to expect those Category 1 conditions in the long term, so they're going to have to monitor this closely as we head into the second half of this week. But we know here locally, we want to talk about this. Look, you can see that Humberto is really helping to guide this system more towards the northeast and away from us, and that's what's allowing for that pivot in the cone. But it still also is going to cause a good amount of dangerous surf for us both today and tomorrow. So I try to stay out of the water, but hey, at least you can get a nice little walk in because those conditions are really starting to improve. Less humidity, I hear, is on the way, right, Julie?
Yeah, it feels nice out there now that we have a northerly component to the breeze. Amanda, thank you so much for that. We are noticing that those rain bands are the only thing we really have to deal with the indirect impacts besides the wind of that tropical storm. Now, drier and less humid conditions roll into the forecast just for one day, really Tuesday, though the breeze sticks with us Tuesday into Wednesday, and then we have that soggy setup returning by the end of the week. Temperatures right now in the upper 70s, Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Key West, dew points in the low to mid 70s. It feels fantastic out there with that northerly component to the breeze. The winds are expected to pick up. Feels like temperatures at or near the air temperature in the upper 70s and low to mid 80s. As you can see, you've got that counterclockwise spin all around the center of our tropical system just offshore, and because of that, those outer bands are expected to move in from time to time. So don't be shocked if you get a downpour here or there, especially because I'm watching them right now over Deerfield Beach. So as Amanda just mentioned, it's moving north at 8 miles per hour. It's about 155 miles just east of us, the center, and we'll be dealing with the drier air on the back end of the system, all thanks to the frontal boundary. That front has stalled out. It's going to keep us basically protected from the actual direct impacts from this tropical storm, and we will notice those drier conditions rolling in. So as for the breeze, definitely breezy conditions today, leading into windy conditions as wind gusts will be moving in right around 1 o'clock, 25 to 30 mile per hour wind gusts expected. Also for you in the Keys, we're noticing those winds will be gusting as well. Then we do it all over again for your Tuesday before the winds start to subside and our forecast improves. Speaking of winds gusting, we have a high risk of rip currents for you beachgoers. Tropical storm watch in effect for offshore waters of Broward and Miami-Dade. There is a small craft caution for you in the Keys. Nearshore waters choppy. 7-day forecast. It won't be terrible today, though we will see some downpours. Really, tomorrow will be the best day of the week with the drier, less humid conditions, and then we see the rain chances increase by the end of the week.
South Florida is busy on your roads as you head out the door this morning for work. You definitely want to take a listen to this right here. You do have a closure on I-95 going southbound at Ives Dairy Road. All your lanes and your express lanes are closed, so you can't get around this right now. You do have a tractor trailer on its side. That's what's causing all of this. You've got some emergency vehicles out there working to clean this up. If you want to avoid this, you can take US 1, you can take 441, you can also take the turnpike depending on where you're coming from. But you can see see all of that red right there built up just behind that purple, which is the closure. Again, this is at Ives Dairy Road in your southbound lanes of I-95. I'm going to keep an eye on this for you and let you know right when it opens up. A few other accidents I need to point out. Right here, Palmetto Expressway going southbound just after Northwest 103rd Street. You do have a left lane blocked. Take a look at all that red. That is no fun. You can take the turnpike if you want to avoid that. Something else I need to point out to you right here, an accident on the turnpike going northbound near Hollywood Boulevard. You do have a left lane blocked there. You can take I-95 if you'd like to avoid this area. You can see here the red. It's no fun. Speeds coming in as slowly as 12 miles per hour. So give yourself a little extra time this morning. Make sure you plan ahead and take a look at your maps on your phones, and make sure you plan your trip before you head out the door, because your roads are busy out there, South Florida. Alrighty, shifting gears, South Florida, we're taking a look at your roads right now. You still have this closure on 95 going southbound at Ives Dairy Road. Take a look right here. You can see this tractor trailer on its side. There's several emergency vehicles working to clean this up. It's a little glitchy, so you can't. There you go. So now you can see here that they're working to clean this up. They brought out several things that look like cranes to get this off of its side and get it out of there so you can get moving on your roads. Let's take you out to your maps here. Right here, this is what you are seeing. All of that purple is the closure. The red is the backup. If you take this as part of your morning commute and you need to avoid this, you can take US 1. You can also take US 441. Definitely better options for you, so you don't have to sit in this and wait. Let's take you to another accident you do have here. This one's still active as well. This one not causing any closures for you, but definitely some heavy delays. Palmetto Expressway going southbound near Northwest 103rd Street. The accident's right after Northwest 103rd Street, but you can see all that buildup right there. You can take the turnpike going southbound if you'd like to avoid this. Let's take you over here. Another accident I do need to point out to you, not causing you any major delays. Julia Tuttle going westbound. It's actually going off the beach, right? So the left lane there is blocked. It's just after Alton Road. If you are going onto the beach between the two, I would definitely recommend the MacArthur Causeway. Let's take things over to our weather queen, Julie. How are things looking?
I have to say, Annaliese, you make all those accents look good, because you make it all so sweet. Because unfortunately, the only thing good about you being in those traffic jams is that you can roll down your window and enjoy this breath of fresh air. We haven't felt this way in quite some time. Temperatures are in the upper 70s. Fort Lauderdale, Pembroke Pines, Miami, 83 degrees in Key West. Look, you can see that breeze in place. Not too strong, but we are seeing some white caps out there. That northwesterly component, that land breeze, has made it feel so refreshing. So yes, roll down the windows. You never get to do that. But be prepared, because throughout the day we will be dealing with the outer bands of our tropical storm that's over the Bahamas. Those outer bands will roll in from time to time. Nothing widespread, but once they move in, they'll move out just as quickly. So rain chances only sit about 20% today, 20% tomorrow, 30% today. We get even drier as we go into tomorrow, and that's even better news because further away the system gets. But right now we've got those showers just hugging our coastline. So for you living by the coast, A1A, US 1, I'm sure you're seeing those downpours, but they haven't pushed on shore yet. I'll be watching that to see if they are going to run into any of our roadways to cause any commute issues. Otherwise, as we track the tropics, for the first 10 minutes of the newscast, we are tracking Tropical Storm Imelda. This system has winds of 50 miles per hour moving north at 9 miles per hour. This is an intermediate advisory as it is very close to land. It is expected to bring tropical storm force winds and rain to parts of the Bahamas before racing off towards the northeast as a Category 1 hurricane. But today it really stays over the Bahamas, so the concern is the flooding for them. Otherwise, the 8 o'clock intermediate advisory for Hurricane Umberto is still a very powerful hurricane, winds of 145 miles per hour. More on all this coming up.
Julie, thank you. Well, welcome back, South Florida. We're going to take another look at this accident on your roads. This right here is I-95 going southbound at Ives Dairy Road. You have that tractor trailer on its side there. They are working to get this cleaned up. You can see that they've blocked it off entirely. So your regular lanes and your express lanes have been closed for quite some time now, nearly 2 hours, a little over 2 hours actually. And that's definitely causing a lot of headaches if you're heading out the door this morning and 95 going southbound is part of your commute. So let's take you over to your map so you can see where this is happening. You can see that purple right there. That is the closure. Now, if you do head this direction, you can take 441, you can take US 1, you can take the turnpike. All those things going southbound would be your alternate here. You definitely do not want to get stuck in all of that red and wait for this to open up. You can see that they're working on it, but it likely will remain closed for a little longer. I will keep an eye on it and let you know when it opens up. Right here, we do have an accident that's starting to clear up. This is on the Palmetto Expressway going southbound near Northwest 103rd Street. You can't see all that red, but it was a lot worse earlier. So The good news is it's starting to clear up. I will leave you with drive times, my Broward County friends. 595 going eastbound. I-75 to US 1 will take you 19 minutes. University Drive to US 1 will take you 10 minutes. Be safe out there, buckle up, and let's take a look at what's going on outside with Julie.
Well, it's a lot calmer than the traffic. Annaliese, thank you so much for that. I gotta tell you, we have some great news. I was just taking a sneak peek to see how nice our temperatures have been over the last 24 hours. And as promised, with the land breeze, it plays a big part in keeping our temperatures comfortable. Now, we do have some rain bands expected from our tropical storm that's over the Bahamas today, so don't leave home without the rain gear, though we're not anticipating widespread precipitation. Drier air moves in tomorrow, and boy, is it going to be ever so dry. You're going to be like, wow, it's fall. Well, it'll be brief, but we'll have a little taste of it tomorrow, and then by Wednesday we keep the breeze around, but unfortunately all good things come to an end. By the end of the week we're going to be soggy. As for temperatures, staying steady in the upper 70s and lower 80s, our dew points in the low 70s, so we're still in the sticky category, but it's not nearly as humid because our air temperature is at or near the actual feels like temperature. And I was just picking this out. Look, we're 1 to 6 degrees more comfortable than yesterday. A northwest wind, a land breeze always does it for us if we do tap into drier conditions, and that's exactly what is occurring with at least Broward and Miami-Dade feels like temperatures in the 70s. Though we do have some showers that are just offshore. These bands of showers will continue to wrap around the center of Imelda, and the system has winds of 50 miles per hour moving north at 9 miles per hour. It's about 155 miles just east of us, the actual center. But those outer feeder bands, they do extend out from the center with the tropical storm force wind gusts, and also with the possibility of the rain bands bringing us some much needed precipitation, though not too much because look, it's battling the dry air all behind the stalled out front. And because of the stalled out front, it has really deflected the system and kept it away from the state of Florida and the worst of the weather away from us. As drier air will continue to move in, that breeze starts to pick up. Look at this. We're expecting our winds to gust. Timing it out for you, 1 o'clock, 25 to 35 mile per hour wind gusts. It's going to feel so good out there, and even better tomorrow when we're talking about wind gusts in the 30s, and then our winds start to subside by Wednesday. So we're talking wind gusts in the 30s with dew points in the 70s today. Watch what happens tomorrow. That drier air ushers in, and boy, we've got dew points in the 60s, my friends. We haven't seen that in quite some time. So it'll be a really nice change to feel like fall. Very brief, but we'll enjoy it. Unfortunately, because of this system so close, we do have a high risk of occurrence for you beachgoers. Boaters, there is a tropical storm watch for offshore waters. Otherwise, the bay is at a moderate chop. And for you in the Keys, near shore waters choppy with a small craft caution. So we get through some rain bands today, and then we're drier by tomorrow. Have a great day.
All right, Julie, thank you. For those who live